Hey, AJ.
Brian!
Whoa,
Mic check.
whoa.
Mic check. 1, 2. 1, 2.
Yeah.
Are we good? How are the levels?
Definitely time to do the mic check. Once we're
Awesome.
Wonderful. Everything's
up,
great,
man?
AJ. No, it's fine. Everything's
I
good.
love to
Everything's
hear
good.
that. That makes me really happy to hear that, actually.
So good. Makes me just want to fucking snuggle. I love swearing in the first 45 seconds just to make sure that this is demonetized immediately.
You have 15 seconds.
Oh, is it 15? And I think I screwed that up too.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that was within 15 seconds.
Did you see Smile?
Yeah, I saw both of them.
Oh, I just saw Smile 2 for the first time last night. The first one I was not impressed by. I was like, this isn't scary. I feel like I know what they're going for, and it's just not working. And I even watched it. I watched it in the theater, and then I watched it again at home. And I was like, no, it's not me. It's the movie. And then I watched Smile 2, and I was like, oh, they fucking nailed it. Like I think they actually made the Smile 2 was like. It hit all the right beats. It was suspenseful. I was like curled up in my bed alone watching it, and I was like, I'm actually like a little bit on the scared side. Like, I think Smile 2 was really good, and Smile 1 was like, eh. What do you think?
You know what's great about opinions, bro?
Oh no, they're like assholes, AJ, assholes.
Listen. I actually have the opposite feeling.
Come on.
But I think everybody really likes the second one. And I can appreciate like, what it was trying to do. I don't hate it or anything. Actually, I kind of do. I didn't like it very much. I like the first one for just being straightforward, classic style horror movie. And the second one was just like, I don't know. It made no sense to me and was just seemed like lazy writing and bad, not the greatest acting.
That's funny. The first one just felt like it dragged on and on and on for me. Hold on, we're gonna ask the chat.
I'm a simpleton.
Speaking of opinions, we got to get everybody's response. And these were the first answers I came up with. You like Smile 1 better, Smile 2 better? You didn't like either of them, or you thought they were both good? All right, man.
Speaking of pop stars,
yeah.
You know what's great about YouTube? Is that
if you say pop stars, I'm going to be very confused.
you can watch. I hate pop music, but. I saw one of the greatest videos just before the show. One of the greatest drummers of all time, Mike Portnoy from Dream Theater, covering Taylor Swift on drums.
Really?
Fantastic video.
Was this one of those where it's like the first time he'd ever heard Taylor Swift and he had to like do the drum beat what he thought it would be?
He just kind of just started playing to it, and then they told him after who it was. But he was like, this sounds like some kind of like Disneyland in Japan song. and he's like, is this song popular? And they're like, it has 3 billion views. And he was like, oh my God.
That's the most fascinating thing about like YouTube to me, is that like there are people in songs and everything that is so popular that most of the world has at least seen it once, some people twice, and it's just like I have no idea what these things are. Like I'm completely clueless when it comes to pop culture. It's crazy.
Yep.
But here we are in our own little corner of the world, man. We're like, a few thousand people know what we're doing, and the rest of the world doesn't. So I say we continue that trend right now. You ready?
Let's go.
Let's go. This is PSVR GamesCast Live. We film live every single MonJay, Wednesday, and 2 Eyes Friday right here on YouTube. We do it live 6 p.m. Eastern for your viewing pleasure. We care so much about those tender little eyeballs of yours. Yes, we do. We want to lick them. We want to eat them. We want to consume them and digest them and then poop them out in little eyeball poops. Boop, boop. Just one after the other. Boop, boop. But we also care about your throat. That's and that's why our good friend Ryan Pop puts it up on podcast services of your choice for your throat. My name's Brian Pop from this channel right here without parole, and this guy over here who I'm gonna make speak so I don't have to is AJ from the Underground PSVR Underground.
What is up, Brian? What is up, Game Cats? Happy Monday. And I know that Mondays usually suck. And yes, this Monday kind of sucks because it's really, last week I was so excited. There was like all this news, and now I'm just back to being the boring Monday guy. But we are here, Brian, to ensure their Monday sucks just a little bit less.
This is already the most I've laughed all week, so it definitely made my Sunday suck a little bit less. And by the way, I feel like we did an entire podcast before we even started the show. I would love to have like a horror movie podcast where we could just sit and talk about these movies constantly. How is that poll doing? I want to know what is everyone?
You're not gonna like the results.
Oh, am I alone on this? Because shocker, AJ, that tends to be where I belong. Right, all alone on my little island where no one agrees with me on anything. That's fine. Welcome to Without Parole.
So Smile 1 has 25%, and Smile 2 has 7%.
Oof.
But the winner is neither at 48%.
That's rough.
And then Both Were Great has 17%. To be honest with you, man, the funny thing is like, yeah, we have a lot of similar tastes with a lot of the cats here, our community. That's why we get along so well. We share a lot of similar. Yeah,
if you don't like Grave Encounters, we don't know what you're doing here.
Yeah, Grave Encounters for life. But I think if you actually polled like the majority audience, like it'd probably be agreeing with you.
Yeah, who knows? Hopefully y'all get your opinions in, because that's enough. That is here. That's enough of that. Hold on, and then the poll. Oh my god, dude! I really got to come up with a new system of streaming, because it is so complicated to do the most basic of things here. Here we go. Man, dude, I feel like it's seriously been a full week since I've talked to you, AJ. You and I have both been very busy. We both had stuff going on in our own lives, personal lives, and we haven't really had a chance to get caught up until today. So please, for the love of God, tell me what you've been doing for the last week.
Oh my God, I'm so glad you asked, Brian, because so much, dude, my channel's been ramping up lately. I've been usually I do like at least like one video a week, and I think I put out 4 videos last week. Yeah, man, I obviously checked out the not Wander. What's it called? Waltz of the Wizard.
Oh, Waltz of the Wizard.
Yeah, we played Waltz of the Wizard. God damn it. We played Ancient Dungeon together. That was a lot of fun. I finally got to play that. Uh-huh. But yeah, man, no, it was a lot of fun. I checked out Waltz of the Wizard. Really cool hand tracking update. We talked about it last week, obviously.
Yeah, that was the topic of the show, I think. Right?
Yeah, and then after, did interactive chat, brought that back, which was nice. And then after a 10-month hiatus, I did a Saturday night live stream, Viewer's Choice. And it was awesome, man. I got to revisit some really cool titles. I got to play Ghost Signal, which is so good. Demeo Battles. And a couple other things. Also, I owe an apology to Scott, because Scotty boy, I'm so sorry. I totally forgot to play
the PSVR Game Cap for Life.
Yeah.
No. What have you done to Scott?
I totally accidentally forgot to play VR Skater, which he picked, and it was on the list. And I was confident that I knew where I was at in the stream. Mm-hmm. And so I went to Saints and Sinners Trials mode and completely skipped over VR Skater. And it bummed me out, because VR Skater is, I think, such a great game, and I have a lot of fun playing it. And I don't think I've streamed it yet. So I owe Scotty boy a VR Skater stream at some point. And then yesterday I pretty much did nothing but play Demeo Battles, like all day long.
Yeah, how'd that go?
Really good. I love Demeo, and I think if you love Demeo, you will also like Demeo Battles.
Did it feel? My biggest question is, did it feel different enough to you?
Well, the nice thing, I'll tell you the biggest difference. The nice thing is that it takes like 20, 25 minutes a session. Like if you're taking your time really, with it. But so it's like, yeah, because Demeo, to complete a campaign in Demeo, that takes like 3 hours at least. If you're playing by yourself, each floor takes like an hour. So it's a lot better just to have like, takes 20 minutes to play it and then you can complete it and move on. I still think the progression system in both of these games, it's the one flaw with Demeo is that they give you so little XP and it takes so much time. And so like, yeah, like there's like a billion things to unlock, but it will take a billion years to get to them because the progression system is just too grindy. It's like built for microtransactions without microtransactions. It's so weird. It makes no sense. And yeah, that's the one big flaw. Besides, I think Demeo Battles should have been a DLC or an add-on or something to Demeo. I hate that they're separate games. But that being said, they're incredibly fun to play. Demeo Battles is really, really fun to play. And it being shorter sessions and like challenges, it's designed to where like you can finish a round in like 5 turns. Like those are the challenges. And every time if you finish within under the amount of challenges, whatever the challenge, you get like these keys, and then you use the keys to unlock stuff, like skins, characters, things like that. So I do like that system, and it shows you that like, hey, like you can actually finish these rounds really quickly, with a little bit of luck and being like super aggressive. And so it was kind of fun to like replay those, unlock the keys and get the rewards. But yeah, man, Demeo Battles, great game.
Did you play with other people, or were you playing alone?
No, I played by myself. I've always pretty much played Demeo by myself.
Really?
And I think that's honestly, like, I don't want to say I don't understand why they focus on multiplayer, because it is really great multiplayer, but I swear, man, like they could really just double down on this being a single player game and it would be amazing. Like it would, I think more people would probably buy it and play it.
Okay. Well, whoever asked in the comments, actually, Alessandro Barlotta said, in your opinion, which one's better in single player? I've really spent most of my time in the original Demeo in multiplayer. I think I've only tried to play one game alone, but it sounds like you've done both by yourself. So which one's better single player?
I don't know. They're kind of just equal. They're equal but different. Like, yeah, it's hard to say. I don't think there is like one is better than the other. Maybe Battles is better because it's like 20 minutes long each session or whatever, and you can stop. But yeah, I don't know. They both have their strengths. And they're not really better. One's not really better than the other. It's just, like I said, they really should be the same game.
Yeah, that's a big disappointment. I think they would have backed themselves into a corner if they decided to make it paid DLC, right? Because then they would have limited themselves only to the people who bought the original. And if they made it free DLC, then they wouldn't have made any money off of it. And it's a tough situation. So I'm sure they were just like, oh, well, wipe the slate clean and try to garner a brand new audience and hopefully retain our old audience. It's a tough situation to be in, especially
because I think they screwed it up anyways. Like, because there's only 38 ratings for Demeo Battles on the store. So, and they stealth released it. Remember, they stealth released it in December with no announcements, right in between Alien and Behemoth.
And Subside. Sorry.
And Subside. And it's just frustrating because it's such the gameplay is so amazing and the, it's such a cool concept and everything, but they really shoot themselves in the foot really bad with this game. And it should be so much more successful than it is. Yeah. But yeah, they're making that D&D game now. So hopefully they get this one right, because it's like literally just these tiny things that are wrong with Demeo and Demeo Battles. And otherwise it's like a phenomenal game.
We got, I can't scroll up high enough. There it is. Paradise Decay in the chat with the $2 says, highly recommended The Gorge film. The Gorge?
PD!
Yeah, thanks for the recommendation, PD. I don't think I've heard of this one. Ringing a bell for you, The Gorge?
No.
Okay. Well, I'll check it out. Dude, for the longest time, like I had such a difficult time. I'd put on a TV show, I'd put on a movie. I'm talking like probably the last year. And like, I immediately would pick up my phone and start playing on it. I'd pick up my DS or some other gaming, handheld. And I would be insistent on doing anything else other than paying attention to the TV show or movie that I was watching. And so I think that's why I actually liked Smile 2 last night, because it was the first movie I'd actually just laid there and paid attention to. Like, the lights were off. It was quiet in my building. I had the covers up. You know, I was like, I had the heat on in the background, trying to stay cold, trying to stay warm in the cold. And it was it. That was it, man. I just put everything down and like watched. I just like enjoyed watching a movie for once. I feel like something in my brain sort of settled down. Yeah, Scott, it says ADD, Brian. That's exactly what it is. But I feel like
movies are. I can definitely confirm movies are better when you actually watch them, unless it's a really bad movie.
It helps. I love blaming the movie or the TV show, though, right? And being like, just like on my phone the whole time, right? Like swiping left, swiping right. And I was like, this movie's terrible. What's going on here? I can't even, the story doesn't even make any sense. That's actually, AJ, that's kind of why I love VR so much, right? Because you put on the VR headset and you're like, boom.
You can't go anywhere.
Right? Like you have to pay attention to that game. And so I think
that was me watching Imaginary. I was like, ugh, this movie's garbage. And
swipe
just
left,
looking at my
right,
phone. Yeah. Purchase Amazon.
Kill Artist One, the Dreamweaver Game Cat with the $5 tip says, hey there, guys. Sorry I'm late. Miles held me hostage in Pavlov. Shout out to Miles, by the way. It's his birthday today.
Happy birthday, Miles.
Yeah, we're running low on birthday hours over there in the UK. It's going to be midnight anytime now. So hopefully you guys checked out Miles' birthday stream. But Kill Artist says, forgot Hope Fun. That game was... Oh my God, forgot how fun.
Yeah.
I thought I was having a stroke for a second. I was like, forgot how fun that game was and how. Out of practice, I am, but made funny moments.
You got the giggles today.
I do have the giggles today, but
dude,
but made funny moments.
Pavlov is so good.
It is really good.
It doesn't get talked about as much anymore because it was a launch game, but it doesn't change the fact that it's still super fun and just such a quality game. It's gotten some nice updates too.
It's got some nice updates, new maps, and graphical improvement, new modes. Yeah, I mean just because we don't talk about it doesn't mean it's not popular. It's clearly selling every month. I think it's constantly on the sales charts, which I thought we were going to talk about. Then I forgot to put on the run of show. So I don't know. Do you want to talk about what I put on the show, or do you want to do the sales charts instead? We got to pick though. We got to pick.
Sales charts.
Okay, but we have. But I put this in the headline, so we have to do this one next.
well,
I'm not sure why I asked JJ, to be honest, because apparently
tune in Wednesday for all the shit we pushed out of this week, episode.
Oh my God. Here, let's go to the full screen real quick. We're going to go over to Zen Studios YouTube channel, and up there they have. Come on, you can do it. You can do it. Is it not going to work? I don't think it's going to work. Let's try that again.
Worked for me.
Yeah, it worked for you?
Yep.
Oh, it just took a long time to come up. At least it worked. Okay. So here's what we got going on. They have a live stream scheduled for the 20th. Now, they've been teasing this for a long time. They've been teasing this for, I think, the better part of 3 or 4 months. So they had some kind of VR announcement planned. And they have a live stream. They do these things called pinball bites. They're these, I don't know if they're actually done live, but they are showcased live, if that makes any sense. And so on the 20th, they have the stream, and they are teasing a VR announcement. Dude, Zen Studios has done so much in the pinball space since the last time we got a pinball game on PSVR. Right, we haven't gotten anything on PSVR2, but over on PSVR1 we got VR pin. What the fuck was it called? It was the worst name ever.
VRFX.
Yeah, but it was like way longer. And then we get to Star Wars pinball, right? And only a little bit of DLC for the original one. So it's like we had some decent support on PSVR1, but like they have not supported PSVR2 at all. And they've got like this pinball M, I believe it's called, which is a bunch of horror tables. Like it's a whole platform just for horror themed tables that all connect to different horror movies.
Pinball FX VR.
Pinball FX VR2 it was, right? Because the VR
FX2
wasn't
VR.
2 VR. Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah. So anyway, so this is coming, and just speculating, man. What do you think it is? Do you think it's even going to be PSVR2? I think is the big question.
I have zero clue, but this is, I think, the first kind of, like, they used to do these announcements, like, you know, every 3 to 6 months, I would say.
Yeah.
And they, if you remember, Zen Studios got purchased. I don't remember by who, but they got purchased after, kind of a little bit after the release of Operencia, the Stolen Sun, and they got purchased by somebody a while later. And
Oh no,
they,
it's
like,
Embracer Group. No.
I was afraid you were gonna say that.
Yep.
Yeah.
Womp womp.
Maybe. I mean, if it's been in development for a while, you know, Embracer apparently, you know, I think they own Vertigo right now, right? Or
yeah, but they just came out and said that they were unhappy with the sales of Metro, and it was like, oh no, because Embracer just shuts down studios like nothing, man. Like,
I know,
like they don't put any care into it at all.
Yeah, everybody hates them.
Yeah,
they, you know, I don't know. I would hope so. I think, you know, this news came out, but I mean, how long has Zen Studios been working on this? Maybe we'll get lucky and it'll come out for PSVR2. But yeah, it's nice to see that they actually are teasing like an official announcement, and that's VR.
Yeah.
And I really look forward to it. If, you know, hopefully it comes to PSVR2, because their games, I've yet to play a game I didn't like from them, unless they made Castle Storm.
They made Castle
Which
Storm.
They might have.
They definitely did.
Okay, well, I like their pinball games, and I loved Operencia, and I love Star Wars pinball. Yeah, so we need a good pinball machine in VR.
Yeah, I just love pinball in general. I don't really love them on the flat screen so much. Although, like, you know, it's so funny that considering how much I suck at pinball, you'd think that I wouldn't love the game so much. But going all the way back, I mean, all the way back to TurboGrafx, like, you know, Alien Crush and Devil Crush, two of my favorite games for that system. You know, even like Metroid Pinball on DS. Like, I mean, it's all these great pinball games, and I love pulling those games out occasionally and playing them. And this was one that just kind of sat on my hard drive for the entire length of the PSVR 1 generation, and I would just play it whenever I kind of, you know, wanted to give it another shot, you know. And I love learning tables, figuring out what you're supposed to do with them. So sorry, sirens on my end. Yeah, so really hoping that they care about PSVR 2, and because they've got such a great history with PSVR 1. It was like this. It felt like for a second they were bringing everything over: flat screen games, pinball games, making new games. Like, it was cool, very cool. Well lasted.
Yeah. You think it's gonna be a pinball game that they announced for VR?
It is. That is actually the one thing we know, AJ. In the description, they do say specifically. Let me just read it here. The reveal of our. Oh, wait a minute. Maybe I'm wrong. It says the reveal of our upcoming VR title. However, the live show is called Pinball Bites, so I'm assuming that everything they talk about will be pinball.
Well, I think it's safe to assume it's coming to Quest, but yeah, other stuff is. If I had to guess, I would say yes, but it wouldn't shock me if it didn't, because everybody targets the Quest and then later realizes that only 11-year-olds use it and can't afford any games. But yeah, they'll actually be able to sell. It would probably sell better on PSVR2 than Quest, no doubt. I think so.
Probably. I mean, I think PSVR2 has an older demographic, right? I don't know how much.
Yeah. You know,
the younger kids love like pinball, but
who was it? I think it was Beardo Benjo. He posted like a tweet of like, no, it was Zim Talk. He posted a picture of the side comparison of the top store downloads of Quest and top store downloads of PSVR2, and it was like Gorilla Tag, Horizon Worlds, you know, a bunch of other like meme stuff, free stuff, kid stuff, and then like Beat Saber was in there, and then you look at PSVR2 and it was like Gran Turismo, No Man's Sky, Resident Evil, you know, Beat Saber was in there too, but then it was like Behemoth, Metro, and like, you know, all these things. But yeah, it'd be silly. It'd be a silly decision, a completely like blind business decision, just looking at data and not actually looking at the reality of the situation to just release it on Quest.
Yeah, I mean, kind of piggybacking on that a little bit. Two things I think are really helpful. Actually, the first is helpful. The second one is just a question. But the first one is that I don't. I'm really hopeful that this PSVR2 has a lot of buzz lately, and I'm really hopeful that the word about PSVR2 has been getting around, because the word is constantly, our game is selling better on PSVR2 than it is on Steam. Our game is selling better on PSVR2 than it is on Quest. And so it's got some good buzz in the developer side of things right now. And again, part of that conversation, I would love to hear about Metro specifically. Right, Pop and I were talking before the show, talking about how like Metro didn't sell as well as Embracer wanted it to. Great. How did it sell on Quest versus PSVR2? Do you like, considering that Assassin's Creed Nexus like didn't sell all that great on Quest? Like, do we just expect when the $40 game drops on Quest that it's probably not going to sell very well, right? That like the older audience kind of generally has the money for these things, or is invested in things like the Metro franchise, whereas kids might not be. And so, dude, they're probably not going to reveal these numbers, but if I was a betting man, I would bet that Metro sold better on PSVR2 than it did on Quest, which is insane.
I was thinking that it would be the opposite, but looking at the store ratings, there's more ratings on the PlayStation Store and even Steam than there are on the Quest. The Quest has 1,100 ratings. PSVR2 has 1,700 ratings. And Steam actually has the most here, which is crazy. Wow. 1,895, 1,900 basically rounded.
All right.
So it actually has the most sales on Steam, looks like.
But how many people played it on their PSVR2 over Steam?
Yeah. It's really, I mean, the Steam and the PSVR are neck and neck, but yeah, Quest, I think that's probably why it didn't sell up to Embracer's expectations or whatever, is because the Quest was actually its weakest platform.
Right. And I think when you're developing a game for Quest, you go, 10 million headsets sold. We got to at least get 10% of those or something like that. We'll definitely get 1 million in sales on the Quest, and then they get like 20,000 sales on the Quest.
Yeah.
Like, okay. Yeah. All right, AJ, I think it's time, man. I think it's time. We are already half an hour into the show.
Tune in for the rest of the news you missed on Wednesday and Thursday on Interactive Chat, because there's still some stuff. There's still some news.
I see how it is. And just before that, we got Starfire896 Nintendo Sega Age with the $5 tip. Says, I know this is old news, but Mojang is pulling Microsoft Minecraft VR off all its headsets next month. So unfair for us people who really love it. Oh, they're not even leaving it up, even like with just allowing you to play it offline. Like if you have it on PSVR 1, you can't just keep playing
it.
Ah, man, I thought we had thought that initially, and then we found out that we were wrong. So I guess this is happening.
Yeah, I mean, it would be nice if they just ended like updates for it. But yeah, that's a shame. I mean, it doesn't affect me personally, but still, it's a shame.
No, what affects me personally is it not coming to PSVR 2. Like, I don't know.
I don't really care about Minecraft, so in that regard, it doesn't affect me. Although I will say the DLC was kind of fun sometimes. There was like two or three DLC I liked.
I've always wanted to like Minecraft more than I have. What did I do 12-hour stream when it came out to VR, and like I learned nothing. Like I was like, this is going to be great. I'm going to immerse myself in it. It's like learning a foreign language, just immersion. And then I literally learned how to do nothing over 12 hours. By the last hour, I was just like in a rowboat, being like just counting the seconds. When is this stream going to end? Yeah, that was my issue, was that I didn't learn how to play it. That's definitely a problem. Okay. Are we good? Are we good?
For
I think
reals,
we're good.
for realsies this time.
For realsies this time. All right, AJ. I think it's time to talk about PSVR2, and we are coming up to the end of year 2 of PSVR2. It's like literally, I think this Saturday will be the 2-year anniversary of our favorite little headset, the little headset that could, as some people have started calling it. I don't know who calls it that, but I feel like we should. I think it can. I think it can. So I think the natural question that comes up, and maybe it's not a natural question. Maybe this has just been bouncing around my brain and no one else's. But have you ever thought of this, AJ, as like saying, listen, year 1, a lot of people were sometimes pretty negative about PSVR2, saying that especially at launch, it had Quest ports and PSVR1 upgrades and didn't have a lot of games. For the first year, people wouldn't stop saying, oh, it has no games, even though that clearly wasn't true, right? But then we just kept getting games and getting games and getting games and getting games. And I think the natural thing to do at the end of year 2 is to say, hey, how is year 2 compared to year 1? And I'm sure you guys in the chat have some thoughts on this. So definitely let us know. AJ, do you have any predictions before we kind of go through and we just kind of like rank every month of PSVR2?
Predictions as to like what's going to be better?
Yeah, which year was better for PSVR2?
Honestly, well, I mean, those are kind of different questions. Like, which year was better for PSVR2? Absolutely 2024, the second year. Just as a whole, what was better? Because like you said, the narrative changed, and games just kept releasing, and then people started realizing that, then it went on sale and more people picked it up. Things like the PC adapter happened and silenced a lot of, that crowd. And yeah, I mean, I think overall, which year was better for PSVR2? Easily 2024.
Interesting. So you
in
think
terms of games, that's going to be a different discussion once we break these down.
Okay, that works for me. That totally works for me. All right, cool. Well, then let's jump into year 1, the very beginning, and we have to start with the launch month of February. So on February, was it 22nd, 2023, it launched, and man, it kind of had everything. We had some beautiful games. We had some hybrid games. We had ports of other games. We had like even ports of Quest games that were we were like, oh man, Star Wars Tales from the Galaxy Edge is not going to be special. And then like we got it and we're like, this is actually really fucking good. They took advantage of all the, the graphical capabilities and the adaptive triggers and all that. So it was there was a lot of games that came out in the first month, and I'm just going to ramble through a handful here, AJ. We had Demeo and Gran Turismo 7, Resident Evil Village, Horizon Call of the Mountain, The Last Clockwinder, Townsman VR, The Light Brigade, After the Fall, which belongs in the next section, Cosmonia's High, Kayak VR Mirage, Star Wars Tales from the Galaxy's Edge, and just a ton of PSVR 1 ports, like After the Fall, Song in the Smoke Rekindled, Pistol Whip Swordsman, Res Infinite, Tetris Effect, Moss, Book 1 and 2, Affected the Manor, Thumper, No Man's Sky. Like, listen, there's just no time to list every single game.
There was a lot of games at launch. It was like around 20, right?
40? No, I thought it was closer to 40 if you count all the PSVR 1 ports too. Mm-hmm. And so
they said over 20, but yeah, it ended up being like 40.
Right. And dude, I mean, especially when you start including games like Horizon, which was built from the ground up game, Gran Turismo 7, which is still one of the best racing games in VR, period. Village, amazing example of a hybrid game. Like, dude, for me, this is a 10 out of 10 month, right? Like this I don't think you could have kicked off the PSVR 2 lifespan any better than this, right? I mean, unless you gave us like, I don't know, like an Uncharted game or something. I just don't even know how you could have topped this, or what reasonable company would have had anything more prepared for the launch of their new headset than this. So 10 out of 10, this is 10. Actually, you know what? Let's each rate it out of 5, and then it can get a grand total of 10. So I'm going to give it 5 out of 5.
I think I'm going to go 4 out of 5.
Then let me ask, please tell me what else they could have done to make it a 5.
Well, okay, so there were a couple problems, like I mean, it was pretty great. It was a daunting amount of games that that it launched with. Like, it was just like, oh my god, like, how are we gonna do this? But yeah, the strengths obviously being Resident Evil Village, Gran Turismo, but then there were some. There was some a little bit of disappointment for me, because like one of my favorite games of all time, No Man's Sky, and this is going to be something that was recurring throughout year one, also, which is why I think year two is going to end up winning. Is that No Man's Sky launched in a terrible state on PSVR2, and luckily it was like kind of the one-offs versus like the norm. But yeah, No Man's Sky was really disappointing at launch. Horizon Call of the Mountain, everybody knows. I've said it a billion times. I know a lot of people like it. I was incredibly disappointed with it. I think it was a pretty big blunder. But there was the stuff that wasn't getting the attention that should have been getting attention. I guess Gran Turismo kind of did. But Resident Evil Village also felt a little like overlooked, and I'm like, this is like one of the most incredible things I've ever played in my life and experienced. Right. And it's like, you know, it wasn't really getting the attention because it had been out for a year. And so it was kind of frustrating, but yeah, I mean, a lot of these games that you mentioned, the launch games were, I mean, there was so much at launch. It was pretty incredible. So 4 out of 5, almost perfect.
Can you remind me, because I was having a conversation about this before the show started, No Man's Sky was there at launch, but it was just not in a great state.
It was in terrible shape. It was in terrible shape.
Okay.
It looked worse than the PS4 version. It was that bad. I actually went and played the PS4 version, and it looked about the same, if not better.
Okay. Cool. Well, so a few minor things could have made it work better for you, but overall, and if Sony had sent them to us for review, that would have made it even better. But I'm still giving it 5 out of 5 stars, and I just cannot. I know we're spending a lot of time on this month, but this is an important month. If anybody forgot my first impressions of Gran Turismo, like, it was the first game that I played because I was waiting for my headset to show up. When it finally showed up, I was like, I got to charge these Sense controllers, and so like I had to play Gran Turismo first. Like, my rig was already set up for the racing stuff, and I'm like, well, I got to play this first, and so that was my first impression of VR, and it's like just a holy shit moment, such a holy shit moment that like I hadn't been impressed with VR for a while. And now I was impressed all over again. Just absolutely blown away by how great Kayak looked, how intense Gran Turismo was, and then finally getting around to playing Village and just being like, oh my god, I finally get to play this game that I've been waiting. Like, yeah, some other people were bored because they already played it, and so they were like, oh, it's not a big deal. And I was like, no, but we knew it was coming. And so if you had a little bit of patience, your first experience could be in VR, just like mine, and it was an incredible experience. So. Yep. Yeah. Looper says if there had to been backwards compatibility, we would have had thousands of games. It was.
Well, he said thousands of games that looked bad, like No Man's Sky did.
Sorry. It was the poll is covering the rest of his comment, and so yeah. Okay, I guess there's that. I guess they could have done.
But yeah, there was definitely a lot more good games than bad. That's for sure. Most games actually at launch were amazing.
For sure, and constantly, like, we're not going to sit here and discuss the bad games, right? Yep. Because it's kind of tiring to discuss the bad games. It's like we'll talk about them here on GAMESCAST, and then we're going to never talk about them again, except for on 20 questions or to joke about them. We always judge a console or a headset or anything based on its best games, right? Don't ever let the bad games drag something down for you. Like, learn not to play those, learn not to buy those. That's the important part. All right, so we got to move on. Now, obviously, things are going to slow down exponentially here because at launch, everything was, gathered and ready to go and planned for months, right. And then we sort of immediately get into a slower release schedule. And in March, we got Switchback, we got Saints and Sinners Chapter 1, a great version of it, and then Saints and Sinners Chapter 2, which really, really showed what the headset was capable of, and Galaxy Kart, which, hey, even though it was pretty busted at launch, was still pretty fun. So I put it there because we all know that the Galaxy Card story gets better as you go. This is a little rough, AJ. A little rough. Second month, not a ton of games. Probably some bad games I didn't even put on here. And but you know what? I would actually be really happy if we got one remaster, one really good remaster every month, one top quality new game every month, a middle of the road game, and then something that was fun that, like, you know, maybe a guilty pleasure. This is actually just enough for me to feel really happy every month.
Yeah, I mean, Saints and Sinners was the only good thing of this month at the time.
Yeah, I guess we were disappointed.
Switchback was rough. Yeah,
right.
Switchback was such a big disappointment. Again, Switchback, huge disappointment at launch. Galaxy Kart, you know, pretty bad at launch. Saints and Sinners Chapter 1 and 2, amazing. I think I gave it like a 9.3 or something.
Yeah.
It was incredible. Saints, especially Chapter 2, was so great to jump back in where the last one left off and looked phenomenal. So yeah. 3 out of 5 just for Saints and Sinners alone.
I'm actually happy with that because I was really disappointed with Switchback at launch. I was wanting Galaxy Card to be better. Eventually, it became better. So yeah, I think three stars for me too, and then we could get a grand total of 6 stars for March. Moving on, AJ, to May. Wait a minute. I guess there's no stars on my end. We must have gotten games in April, but like again, probably nothing worth writing home about. I went through the PlayStation Store screen by screen, and just kind of tried to put all these in order. So I don't have anything for April. If you guys know of anything in the chat, please let us know. And but for now, we're just going to go straight to May. We had Cosmodread, Beat Saber, Red Matter 2, and Walkabout Mini Golf. In my book, all phenomenal games, even if for the most part they're kind of on the smaller side, like kind of err on the side of indie games. But again, just a fantastic month.
Yeah, pretty great. Red Matter 2. I mean, again, you release one of the all-time greats, then that month is going to be pretty special. Beat Saber was nice, and Walkabout Mini Golf was a lot of fun. I didn't really care for Cosmodread, but for these others, I'm gonna give this a 3 out of 5.
Honestly, I loved all of these. The only sad part of that month was finding out that I actually preferred the Move controllers to play Beat Saber with, and I was like, no, my Perfect Sense controllers are so not perfect for playing Beat Saber because I'd rather have the lightsaber hilt feeling Move controllers. So 4 out of 5. No, 5 out of 5. No, what did you give it?
3.
Okay, I'm giving it a 4. Not too bad. All right, so that brings us up to 7 for May. And then the only big game I saw in June was Hubris. Take it away, AJ. Tell me about Hubris. What'd you think of
Hubris is awesome. It's only 5 hours long, but it's graphically, it looks like a super high-end PC game, and it did at launch. And yeah, it also showcased like a wide variety of gameplay elements and was fantastic. I mean, if I'm supposed to rate them, I mean, I mean, for Hubris, like I want to rate Hubris really high, but if that was the only release, then maybe a 2 out of 5.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I mean, listen, it could be the only exception would be if it was like Resident Evil 9. I'd be like, you know what? That's fine if it's the only game. Yeah, and this is a
like
game
it
I
gets
feel
that
like
too, just because Hubris is awesome.
Yeah, for real. So I think I'm with you. I think that's totally fair. So I'm going to give it 2 as well. July gave us Synapse. Some quiet months, AJ. Some quiet months. You know, and again,
slowed down a little bit.
I'm sure there was some crap along the way as well that we're just not going to even acknowledge. But Synapse, dude, I loved Synapse. You know, I definitely it was on the easy side, and I didn't like that there weren't enough bosses, or really technically any bosses. And I didn't think the story stuff was all that great, to be honest with you. Like, it was cool that we had David Hayter voicing our character and everything. And there was cool stuff going on, but I felt like if they had more time in development, this game could have been way more fleshed out, way more levels, way better skill tree, and with bosses and stuff to make it more epic. So I loved what this game did, but the more time I have away from it, the more of its flaws I see, kind of like shining through. So that means I'm giving July a 2. Same as Hubris, same as June.
Yep, I'm right there with you. Synapse has some really special things about it. But yeah, that being the only release that month, and it being a 3 to 4 hour game, it's like, okay.
Yeah.
It doesn't fill an entire month, so just 2. Synapse is great though.
Luke Milkman Rockhold in the chat says Synapse wasn't too bad. The eye tracking was pretty awesome. The eye tracking was pretty awesome. I thought the adaptive trigger support for all of the first of all, the telekinesis is amazing. We want telekinesis in like every game. No, that's not true. But it was so good. It was done so well. But I just loved catching a grenade in midair and having to be so gentle with the adaptive trigger, because you knew if you pulled it just too much, it would blow up. It just felt so right to play.
Yeah. Awesome game.
All right, what happened in August, AJ? Do you have this list going on here?
Yeah.
All right.
A little bit more happened in August. VR Skater dropped.
Woo!
Green Hell came out, which was, pretty disappointing at launch. Just kind of overall, like some cool things, but yeah, disappointing. Crossfire Sierra Squad came out. I loved Crossfire Sierra Squad. And then
it just kept getting better and better and better and better. But yeah, we'll keep our focus on the launch month.
And then Firewall Ultra also came out and was probably the all-time biggest disappointment on PSVR2 to this day.
Yeah, unfortunately. Sirens on my end. See, I kind of disagree with Green Hell VR. Yes, it launched without like it was a little on the blurry side. But man, I loved that game. I think the big disappointment was that people wanted the PC build. And I was like, yeah, I understand that. Right. But I've never played either one. So I get to go into it blind. Ignorance is bliss, the whole deal. I was like, yeah, it's a little on the blurry side, but man, this game is great. And I think VR Skater is still one of my favorite PSVR2 games of all time. Right. I mean, it's just so good. So yeah, between fuck Firewall. That game, they screwed up big time. But between VR Skater, Green Hell, and Crossfire, man, I'm back up to like a 4 for August, just because these games are so good, and we got 3 of them.
Yeah, I love VR Skater, and I love Crossfire Sierra Squad, but the other disappointments were pretty big. I think I gave Green Hell like a high 6 at launch, and it probably still stays there. It probably deserved to be lower, but I'm gonna give this another 2.
Okay.
Because despite VR Skater and Crossfire Sierra Squad being great, there was still a lot of disappointment in this month.
Yeah, it's true. Okay, well then September gave us Hellsweeper, and it was not great at launch. That game looked worse than a PSVR 1 game at launch. It looked so low res. It was like pixelated.
Which one?
Hellsweeper.
Oh, Hellsweeper
ended up being a great game. Did not start off that way at all.
Oh, that's all we got for September.
That's all we got, dude. I'm down to a 1 for September.
Can we do 0?
Yeah, sure. Like, you know what? And I'm also gonna do a 0 if we're allowing zeros.
I love Hellsweeper now, but yeah, it didn't get patched for like 6, 7, 8 months. So at launch it was a 0, and I refused to play it. I refused to play it until it got fixed.
Right, and then it got fixed, and I was so busy with other stuff, I really haven't had a chance to give it a fair shake. I've always had to trust your opinion on it, and everyone else who's played it more. So.
It's so good now.
Fortunately, AJ, the September lull ended very quickly, because that brought us to October with a amazing port of Red Matter 1, Propagation Paradise Hotel, which, fuck you, Eric, it's a great game. The Seventh Guest, Journey to Foundation, which, and then Ghost Signal, which, as we both said earlier in the show, is fantastic. Man, this is a tough one to rate, because I feel like we've got quantity and quality here. I'm
gonna go 3 stars. 3 out of 5.
3 stars. Wow.
Yeah.
All right, I'm putting it up a little bit, man. Just because, I mean, listen, Propagation Paradise Hotel was the Resident Evil fix I thought I needed. Seventh Guest, the puzzles were so great. I still haven't gotten around to playing any of Journey to Foundation because long story. We've already talked about it on the show. And then Ghost Signal, I couldn't stop playing. Like I was like, I don't think I like real time strategy games. And then it was like 50 hours later, I was like, oh, I guess I like real time strategy. Yeah, I'm doing a 4. You're doing a 2? Is that what you said?
A 3.
Okay, so 7.
Yeah,
okay.
Red Matter, amazing. I haven't really played I've hardly played the PSVR2 version of it though. But I assume it's on par with the original, like the way it was. Like it was always good, but
yeah, I mean it is. So whereas I think they have Red Matter 2 was 120 native, Red Matter 1 is 90 native. But I mean, again, all of the interactions are great. Everything looks crystal clear. I mean, it just is a really good looking game. And of course it, it just it takes the game that so already beautiful and a great story, and fun puzzles and brings it over to PSVR2 like flawlessly practically.
Yeah. I only hopped into it for like 10 minutes, but that's because I already beat it and platinumed it. I beat it like twice and platinumed it on PSVR1. So I really didn't need to play it again. Propagation, excellent. 3-4 hour, super fun. It was like, zombie game. Seventh Guest. It's like I think it's a lot better than how much I like it, if that makes sense. Like I really hate it, but it's also really good in some ways.
Just not your style of games. That's
like it's so not for me, but I want to play it so bad because it looks like my style of game, but it doesn't play like my style of game. But really, really cool. And then, yeah, of course, Ghost Signal, fantastic. Fantastic game. So 3.
Okay. So then it brings us to November with Vampire the Masquerade, Justice, and Barbaria. 2 very good games, man. Neither one stellar, but both very, very good. It's gonna be kind of tough to rate this.
I was so excited about Vampire Masquerade because it was kind of a dry spell, and we expected like 20 games in October of 2023, and then like everything got delayed. And then like Foglands, like you didn't have Foglands listed, but that ended up being like a huge disappointment.
Yeah.
In October. And then like even though it was right after October, we had review keys early, so I got to play Vampire in October. And it just like made my month. So
nice.
I love that game. I think it's great. And Barbaria is a lot of fun too. Best replay system I've ever seen in any game ever. So yeah, I'll give this this I don't know. I'm like at a 2 or 3.
Yeah, I gotta go 2. They're both good, but it just wasn't enough.
Yeah, 2.
All right, so we got 4 here for November, and then that brings us to December, which a lot of games get delayed into or suddenly released at. All right, and December was Arizona Sunshine 2. That feels like so long ago, dude. It feels like forever ago. Five Nights at Freddy's Help Wanted 2, Ancient Dungeon, which is one of my favorite games on PSVR 2, and then Resident Evil 4 Remake VR, which we didn't have to wait nearly as long for as Village.
Yeah.
What was that, like 6 months or something after Resident Evil 4 came out? So it wasn't too bad. Yeah. Dude, I'm not gonna hold back. This is a 5 out of 5 month for me because Ancient Dungeon and RE4 Remake, two of my favorite games. They have come out on PSVR 2 over the last 2 years, and I mean both of them got a 10 for me. And Arizona Sunshine 2 was a nice mini evolution of the Arizona Sunshine formula, and Five Nights at Freddy's just more FNAF, which is cool. I still haven't spent all that much time with it, to be honest with you. But those games, those 2 were just bonus. Ancient Dungeon, phenomenal game. Resident Evil 4, phenomenal game. 5 out of 5. Don't disappoint me, AJ. Gun to your head. Don't look behind you.
I'm gonna give it a 4 out of 5.
Okay.
Although I could give it a 5 just for Resident Evil 4 alone, but I didn't do that for Village, so I'm not going to do it here either. I'm trying to be consistent here.
Yeah, I mean, I guess if you didn't do it for Village and the other 39 games that came out that month, then then no months are getting a 5.
There's no way.
All right, so that brings us up to January. We're nearing the end of year 1 for PSVR2. We got to get through January, February, and January brought with a Vertigo 2, Bulletstorm VR, which I know a lot of people liked and I just wasn't a fan of, and Ultra Wings 2. AJ, this is a tough month to rank because Vertigo 2, as great as it is, was not really a fantastic port, right? Like the adaptive trigger support was like non-existent. The haptics could have been a lot better. There was frame rates that were stuttering in the open areas, and still to this day, a lot of that has not been fixed. So even though it's a fantastic game, I feel like our port could have been so much better. Bulletstorm was not good at launch, though it's slightly better now. And Ultra Wings 2 came out before it was even supposed to, and which means, again, when things just stealth drop on the PlayStation Store, unbeknownst to me or the developers at this point, I don't get a chance to play them, unfortunately. So this was kind of a rougher month than it should have been. Like I don't think I can go higher than like a 2.
Yeah, that's the highest I would go, but I'm going to give it a 1.
Wow, you're being
even though I like Vertigo. I liked Vertigo too. But yeah, Bulletstorm was a disaster at launch. Ultra Wings 2 is such an odd one for me because I was so excited for that for so long. Yeah. And then it came out and I just didn't care. Like, I don't know what happened. I can't explain it. I was so excited for Ultra Wings 2 for so long. Maybe it's because it like accidentally released and then just kind of ruined. I don't know. Maybe the way it just launched kind of ruined the fun of it.
Yeah. Yeah, it doesn't help. There's no chance to be hyped for it. No chance. It sucks, like, because it sounds like such an elitist position to come from, to be like, well, we didn't get to cover it properly, and so we didn't like it that much. It's like,
I didn't care about that. No.
See, I do, because when me covering something for a review is generally the time I have to play it, right? And so there is a part of it, like having like a crappy launch, right? Where it's like where something's wrong with it at launch, or I didn't get to play it before launch. It's like, well, I got to move on to whatever isn't out yet. And so that can unfortunately, so that's why I don't review a lot of those games. I give it like 6 months and I'm like, hey, I can go back and just like actually like enjoy this game now because I've got some free time on my hands. I don't have to squeeze it into a schedule that doesn't have room for it, right? If I squeeze it into a schedule where there's no time to play, then I'm definitely not going to enjoy it. So, yeah. Anyway, we got to move on to February. February, which is the last month of year 1, PSVR2, gave us Legendary Tales in Space Stalker VR. This was like the big ambitious game and the smaller, ridiculously fun game. Both just fantastic, man. I don't know. You take
I almost want to give it a 5 just because of Legendary Tales. How much I love that game.
Send your hate mail to aj@psvrunderground.com.
But I'm gonna give it a 3. I mean, no, I'll give it a 4. This was a pretty good month. I'm factoring in. The thing is, I recall a lot of the things that happened in this month as well. I'm not gonna try to let that affect the score, but I'm also thinking about the events that happen. So it's not just a rating by games release, but it's like if I wanted to, I could really put in like, a state of play that had Legendary Tales announced and then released a week later. And then also Metro Awakening was announced that same time. And it was also the anniversary of PSVR2, and they announced other stuff as well, like Zombie Army and Wanderer and the PC adapter. So it was actually a pretty great month. So yeah, I guess I'm going to sneak it up to a 4. I'm going to cheat a little.
All right. I'm doing a 2. Just because it was fantastic stuff, but I need some quantity in there as well.
But Legendary Tales is like months worth of game. Okay. That's okay. It's fine.
Uh-huh. and that's why I gave Ancient Dungeon Month a 5 out of 5. All right, man. Well, this brings us to year 2. And so let's take a little break. let's pump the brakes for just a second here. And here, I'm gonna take a look at the comments. We got Sun WTF with a $10 tip, says, Happy Monday, GameCats. Says, maybe too long of a discussion, but I'm curious to compare year 2 of PSVR1 to PSVR2. That would be kind of interesting.
Yeah. We did something like this before, I think. And
yeah, it sounds tough. Oh, because we compared year 1 of PSVR2 to year 1 of PSVR1. Is that what we did?
I think that's what we did. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was like, we were all expecting PSVR1 to like destroy it. And then we were like, actually, PSVR2 had the better first year. I'm pretty sure that's what happened. I don't know. But year 2 would be much tougher because year 2 is pretty much the best year PSVR1 had.
Wait, I thought 2018 was the great year. 2017 was the great year?
That's the second year.
The second greatest year?
No, 2018 is what I consider the second year of PSVR.
Oh, right. That makes sense because it came out in like October. So,
but if we're doing it like your way, then yeah, it's kind of cut off, I guess, a little bit.
It gets cut off a little bit. Yeah, it would be interesting to see where that divide happens.
Mid-month, you're slashing out.
Right.
You'll get Astrobot, but then you don't get Firewall, Beat Saber, and like all these other things.
Right. Mr. Twisted Black Game Cat with the 5 quid says Synapse is my favorite game on PSVR 2. While I get the extra missed potential, I just feel so unbelievably free/empowered with the eye telekinesis. Yeah, it is pretty amazing.
A lot of games, man. I know, despite us being very critical on games like all the time, because we have to play every single game that comes out, pretty much.
That's our job,
and like play them to completion. Yeah. That's not what normal human beings do. Just so you know, that's like this weekend was definitely a revelation to me. Like it was like I just played Demeo all day. Demeo Battles. Like nobody gives a shit about this game, but I played the shit out of it, and it was like really good. And then playing Saturday Night Live stream, playing Ghost Signal again, and like all this other stuff. It's like a lot of these games are actually a lot better than they get credit for sometimes, but it's all. It's all subjective. It's kind of a matter of perspective, and when like somebody playing somebody's first VR experience of Horizon Call of the Mountain versus somebody that's played 500, 600 VR games to completion playing Call of the Mountain. It's like, you know what I mean? So yeah, like we're extremely lucky to be where we are right now, and yeah, we do take. I'm guilty of it too. Kind of take it for granted how good some of these games. They may not generate a lot of buzz. A lot of people just say, "Oh, indie trash." Fuck you. These games are actually really good and actually offer a lot of really special things about them.
That's true. Also, fuck you, Brian. Like, sometimes I get really critical and I go down a like a rabbit hole of things that I don't like about a game, and it's so easy to focus on that stuff. But yeah, I don't know, man. It makes some of these GameScasts really, really difficult because there's been so many games that I've loved, but we spend so much time talking about the parts of the games we don't love. So yeah, it's just part of the territory, man. It's like when we're trying to be critical and give you guys the most honest reviews possible, it's easy to get kind of stuck in that trap.
Well, it's also hard because there's such a wide variety of like what games offer. Yeah. So. You can't. It's really hard to compare certain games.
It is, and that's why when people say, how could you possibly give Ancient Dungeon the same score that you gave Resident Evil 4 or Resident Evil Village? I'm like, well, if you don't look at games the same way I do, I guess that's a tough one to defend. But I've played Ancient Dungeon way more than either Resident Evil game. And I actually think I enjoyed my time with Ancient Dungeon more than either Resident Evil games.
But that's what makes your opinion special, better, in my opinion.
My mom was right.
Hold your ground, man. Hold your ground.
Hell yeah. Even if I'm wrong, I will fight to the death. Okay, this brings us to year 2, and of course, year 2 began, February 22nd, 23rd. What the hell was it? Why is my brain so fried?
2024.
Right, 20. But what was the date? February.
Oh, yeah, 22nd. You do have a
22nd
hard time
of
remembering that for some
2024.
reason.
I don't know what the problem is. I mean, I do October 13th, 2016, burned in my brain. But
Yeah.
this, I don't know what. Maybe eventually. All right. So, yeah, so not much happened that last week of February. So that brings us to March, which gave us Stilt, awesome platformer, Cube, VR, Happy Funland, Overdark, and Genotype, which even though I've spent like 4 or 5 hours with, people are loving Genotype and going to bat for it and telling me how great it is and that I need to go back and finish it. That's why it's included here. You were a bigger fan of Cube than I was, AJ.
I love Cube. I got the platinum.
Yeah.
Yeah, Stilt was great. I loved Cube. Happy Funland, I'm not a fan of. Overdark, I was a big fan of. And Genotype was like, I still need to finish Genotype. I'm like several hours in. But like I just hit a wall and I just never went back. Because I was having so much fun until I wasn't.
Yeah, I was hitting a bug where like it was telling me I hadn't been places that I clearly had been. And so then I was re-exploring to reopen up the map. And so the Metroidvania part of it was just kind of broken for me a little bit. And so, and sometimes figuring out where to go next was really difficult. And so Genotype was, I just hope it gets better. I love that it has boss fights. I love the different weapons that it has. There's a lot of things going for it. And since I haven't been back in so long, I'm very curious to see what they've improved since I've been back, since I've played. I actually ended up liking Happy Funland a lot more than you did. I think at launch when it only had click turning, when the combat was just atrocious, and now it's better. Yeah. It's not great or even good. It's just tolerable now. These games are all like.
What did you give it at launch? What did you score it at launch?
Oh, like probably like a 5 or 6 or something.
Yeah.
Like it was because I agree with I agree with everybody who goes to bat for Happy Funland, saying the environmental storytelling is just incredible. And just giving you that sense of place and giving you all these like kind of inside jokes when it comes to like making fun of Disney, all that stuff. Like I agree with everybody with that, but like at launch, it had some serious issues. It's a much better experience now for sure. And the second half of that game, or the last third of that game, just crazy. You beat it, right? Or no?
No. Which one?
Happy Funland. Yeah.
No, I don't think I beat it.
You should try to finish it because it really the last third of that game is really the star of the show. It gets a little crazy and I loved it. Yeah. So kind of a weird month, man. A lot of mid-level games at best for me. Stilt was a surprise, a lot of fun.
So there's one thing I'd like to add into this month.
Oh, what do I miss?
This is when Hellsweeper VR got the update. Oh. So this is gonna this might actually boost this month a little for me. Hellsweeper getting the update was huge. I'm gonna give it a 3 out of 5.
Man, I wish we had. It's so hard tracking down dates for all the improvements that certain games got. Like when did No Man's Sky get better? When did Galaxy Kart get its major update that made it way better? When did
I'm going alongside. I'm cheating a little bit. I'm using my interactive chats to kind of like follow these dates to see like what other things happened around this time.
Well, if you see any other games that got improved, then feel free to include them because that'll definitely affect some of these months. Listen, man. As much as I really enjoyed some of these games, none of them are really things that I'm going to bat for.
Galaxy Kart got updated this month, and Paint the Town Red also came out.
Suddenly, wait a minute. I had Paint the Town Red in July. Why is that?
Oh.
Huh?
I don't know, but I had a review for Paint the Town Red in March.
In March? Okay, well, I guess we better get it out of July then, because that doesn't make any sense. Okay. Okay, yeah, then this is... What are you giving this?
So with Galaxy Kart getting updated and Hellsweeper getting updated, I might have to bump this up to a 4.
Okay. I'm with you because Galaxy Cart, when Galaxy Cart,
because there's also a lot of great games that released this month too.
Yeah,
they're really good ones.
Yeah, Overdark was a nice surprise. Stilt, I had no faith in whatsoever, and when I finally played, I was like, "This is really fun. It's just fun to bounce around. The multiplayer was fun. The single player was great. Yeah, this is a great month overall. It's like kind of like mid-level games, but stuff that is fun. And yeah, with those updates for sure. Okay, that brings us to May, and in May we got Stride Fates, Sushi Ben in Madison VR.
Ugh.
I mean, we've got a clear winner here
for May. Yeah, dude, Madison VR is almost worth a 4 out of 5 itself.
Right.
We got Pistol Whip Void Slayer, Summer Dive DLC for Puzzling Places, and multiplayer and resolution update.
I should have had you put this together.
Alien Rogue Incursion was announced.
Yeah.
And then Madison VR.
This is at best. This still can't be more than a 3 out of 10 for me. Like,
yeah, I'm gonna give it a 3 because of Madison.
Yep.
Alone.
And I actually love Sushi Ben. I think Sushi Ben is great. And I'm not the kind of person that wants to sit and read in VR, right? But I just found that town very charming. I found all the characters charming, and I just enjoyed playing through that game. Had a good time with it. So, but it's still a 3.
It's the only visual novel I didn't absolutely hate. So
all right, put it on a poster.
that is very poster worthy.
Yeah, I want there to be a physical version of Sushi Ben, with it being the only visual novel I didn't absolutely hate. PSVR Underground. All right, the only thing we got in June was Retropolis 2, unless your interactive chat tells us otherwise.
Hold on, I'm in May. Yeah, if Retropolis 2 is the only thing that released in June, then that's not good.
Yeah, listen, I mean, for me it was a great point and click adventure game. I gave it a 7 point something. But that can't carry a month like this. I'm not going to give it 0 stars because Retropolis was so well done, but still I'm only giving it a 1 total.
But they did drop the PlayStation, the PSVR2 Plus catalog launched around that time.
It doesn't change anything for me personally.
Yeah, I'm gonna give it a 1.
All right. So wait, do we have nothing in July? Because we pulled Paint the Town Red out of July, and so oh man,
dude, the summer, I'm telling you, man, the summer of 2024 almost killed me. If I didn't have my PC, I would have thrown away all of my video game stuff permanently.
Oh right, this is when we lost you to the PC cult. I forgot.
This is when I lost my goddamn mind because I couldn't do the droughts anymore. Because summer sucks for VR. Didn't last year. But for some reason, 2024, everyone was like, no, competition, 0 competition. Still not going to release our game. Silly decision. 0 competition. Could have.
Does July get a 0? Do we have nothing from July?
I don't see anything.
Okay. Maybe you know.
It was just like, I think there was maybe some updates, like maybe like Crossfire or No Man's Sky. Yeah, No Man's Sky and Gran Turismo, I think, got updates somewhere around here, but I don't know when exactly.
Not enough to move the needle for me.
Yeah.
All right, so the 2 I have listed for August are Arcade Paradise VR, which I loved, and Compound, which I really liked. Did either of these do it for you?
I don't really like Compound very much, even though I should.
Yeah, right. It really feels like an AJ game when I play it. It's so weird.
Runner is way more of a nostalgic trip for me. Okay. Like Runner feels more like inside of an SNES game than Compound does to me, even though it looks like it.
Sure, Compound felt like Wolfenstein 3D for me, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I did like Arcade Paradise, even if it took me a long time to play it. Two.
Yeah, I love both of these games, but the month overall just feels lacking. So I'll give it a 2 as well, which brings us into September with Snow Scout and
Underrated.
Into the Radius.
Amazing.
Yeah.
I will. Man, can Into the Radius itself bring this to a 4?
Whoa. No. I mean, yes, for you can do whatever the fuck you want. But yeah, seeing how difficult it was for other months for you to get to a 4. Listen, I love Into the Radius. I love Into the Radius. But like, yeah, this at best I think it can push this up to a 3 for me.
Yeah, okay, we'll do 3.
Dude, Snow Scout was good. Just be happy, everybody, that you weren't me. Like, I don't know how I reviewed that game properly, despite the fact that like I was the bug tester for that game.
It was pretty bad.
Oh my god, dude! It was like every day just sending them new bug reports because like I was stuck.
That is one I need to go back and play more though. Like I did play it for a couple hours, but I've been a little curious to keep going and see how I feel. Figure it out.
I want to start over from the beginning. Like that's the only way to have like a fresh opinion of it. But it was good, man. Snow Scout was good. Nice little cozy game. That's the best way to describe it, I think. Nice cozy game. I'm giving this whole month a 3 though, and that's mostly due to Into the Radius being amazing.
Yeah.
6 total then. You're giving it a 3?
Yep.
We're moving right along. It's starting to feel a little more recent because we are getting a lot more recent. And this is in October. Fantastic month, AJ. We got Max Mustard. Fuck you, Astrobot. We got Metal Hellsinger. We got Arizona Sunshine Remake. We got Vendetta Forever. And we got Phasmophobia, which I've just been obsessed with since October, apparently.
It's a really good month.
It was a really good month. Dude, I like Max Mustard and Phasmophobia alone could push us up to a 4 for me, just because those games are just so great. I'd almost call them necessary, right? Phasmophobia delivered like this great social horror game that like just it carved out its own genre on other platforms. There's been so many, like hundreds of copycats, right? And then Max Mustard came along just as we were like mourning the loss of Astrobot, like being like, oh, it's only on flat screen and we really need this in VR. And Max Mustard came along. We're like, here you go. Hey, yeah, don't worry. We're going to give you the hug when you need it. Thanks, Toast. So almost, I'm wanting to give this month a 4 for the fantastic games, the necessary games, and just some quality games. I know a lot of people love Vendetta Forever. I haven't actually had a chance to like dive deep into that. Yeah. And dude, and I've said this a couple times. I think Arizona Sunshine Remake is better than Arizona Sunshine 2. Like
it absolutely is.
It's just more fun. Levels are better.
Yeah. Oh, I want to give this a 4 so bad, but I'm going to give it a 3.
All right, I'm going to stick with my 4, which might be a little ridiculous, but still, that brings us up to a 7. We're up to November. November gave us Metro Awakening VR. We got Gorilla Tag, which I know is very important to all of us. In Starship Troopers Continuum. Was that really it for November? I think I had to rush through this a little bit. I hope I didn't screw that up.
I'll tell you in just a second.
Yeah, no, I had a feeling. Here, while you're looking that up, let's take a look at some of these tips here. Scroll down. While it is now GameCast, specifically White Tiger, where the Canadian $2 tip says, Into the Radius rocks. Rate your hype levels for 2-year anniversary. Into the Radius
3.
rocks. Oh. I want to be optimistic. I know a lot of people are like concerned about Secret of the Mimic. But I've got a feeling, dude. I've got a feeling that we're gonna get Aces of Thunder. Either they're just gonna drop it and be like, "Here you go, motherfucker, stop complaining," or they're going to go, here's a release date, motherfuckers, stop complaining. I feel like one or the other. Aces of Thunder news or Stealth Drop is on its way. One or the other. I just feel it in my fucking bones. I won't tell you which bones because this is a family show, God damn it. Family show.
So November was, it had these games in it, but it also had the launch of the PS5 Pro, I think, as well as something else.
All right, I think we can all agree. I think we can all agree.
Oh, as well as the sale, the PS5 went on, or PSVR2 went on sale for $350.
Okay, that is a game changer.
Yeah.
Right. Although this wasn't the first time it went on sale, right? This was the holiday sale. It had gone on sale for the back to school sale earlier.
This was the first sale where it exploded. Like it went on sale before, and some people grabbed it. It went on sale in November, and 5 times the amount of people grabbed it.
Yeah, pretty crazy. Pretty crazy. I think the word had gotten out. Man, this headset's really good.
Actually, like 30 times. I think it's literally 30 times the amount of people.
Okay, real specific here.
Yeah,
I think it's 32 times. No, I think it's 33 times.
It's pretty accurate. It's probably more accurate.
Yeah, I think people had heard about the prior sale and been like, "Oh, I can't believe I missed out on that. Next time it goes on sale, I'm definitely grabbing it." It went on sale, and everyone's like, "I'm fucking grabbing it," right? I don't know. It's still rough. I'm not a Gorilla Tag person. I enjoyed it when I went and checked it out with a few people. It never pulled me back in. Starship Troopers Continuum was fun. Again, it wasn't good enough to pull me back in. And Metro Awakening, I played through all the way, and I really enjoyed it. But again, a lot of not a proper Metro game for fans of the series, I think. So this is as good as this month was. Listen, for the games, I want to give it a 2 out of 5. But with the sale being as big as it was and using AJ's stats to bring in 30 times the number of people, I'm gonna push up to a 3.
I'm gonna go 4 here because I love Metro Awakening. Gorilla Tag got some of my friends who have kids to play their PSVR2's that they'd owned since launch for the very first time.
I've heard this story more than once on the show, yeah.
And then didn't unplug it and like still playing it. It literally revived the PSVR2 for them. And then, or gave it life for the very first time. And then the PS5 Pro launched or whatever. And then the sale, this is absolutely a 4 out of 5 month for PSVR. This might even be a 5 out of 5 month for PSVR2.
Wow. All right. We've only got 2 months left because February's been kind of boring. That brings us to December. Just a couple months ago, when we got Demeo Battles, which you talked a lot about at the beginning of the show, Alien Rogue Incursion, Subside, and Behemoth. However, Behemoth's launch, I think we all have to acknowledge, was a little on the rough side, and for some people, it's still on the rough side.
It got fixed within the same month, within the same week.
Yeah. So listen, I can only
improved, maybe not completely fixed.
I can only rate it based on my experience, because this is my experience, and I had a good experience with it. But even the newest patches that they dropped, and we fixed 700 things, they failed to mention that they broke like 700 more. Right?
Oh, really?
Like, yeah, dude, I'm getting nonstop comments from people being like, "This broke the game for me."
Oh no!
Yeah.
I played it on Saturday, and it was fantastic.
See, this is the problem with bugs, is that it happens to some people and not others. So listen, anyway.
I started from the beginning, but
the point is listen, I enjoyed Behemoth. I enjoyed Alien, I think, less than most people. I thought it was very good. I thought it was fun to be in that world, and I'm a huge Alien fan, so
we're swapped with those. By the way, have you played the new Alien update?
I haven't, but I haven't heard good things about that either.
You haven't heard good things about that?
No.
Dude, what is wrong with people? Who comments?
Ask them. They're here. Dude, they're right here in the chat.
I think you're just a really popular channel, and I think people come from like PC and Quest and bitch about stuff here because they don't have anywhere else to bitch about it because they don't have communities.
Whoa. Shots fired.
Okay, well, UEVR, Flat to VR has a community. Other than that, I don't know a single goddamn community outside of this one for VR.
I don't have time for other communities outside of this for VR. I'm sure they
I
exist.
do see people. Honestly, it is one of my pet peeves. I do see people all the time, like they play on Quest, they play on PC, and they come talk about a game.
That's true.
As the PSVR version, and I'm like, you do realize these are different versions, right? Like they're different.
So hold on. Back the fuck up. Back the fuck up. Talk to me about this Alien patch, because I haven't had a chance to play it.
Dude, it's what you've been waiting for.
Is it really?
Yes.
I'm so excited.
I wouldn't say it's like perfect, probably. Like I'm sure you'll find something somewhere.
I'm sure I will, because I'm an asshole.
But your tracker actually works like how it should, and you hear aliens like you hear them within the same like time period, but when you hear them, you just shut the hell up and you be quiet, and like you'll hear them messing around in the other room and then go away.
Oh, that's what I want. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. That builds the tension. That makes you use your motion tracker. That
there's
gives
also
me everything I wanted.
Scripted moments where you have to engage with them. So it's like it just feels like it fixed everything with the game. And they fixed a lot of the game breaking bugs, or like other, I don't know if they were game breaking, but they definitely, there were a couple, but that I'd heard about. I didn't experience myself, but they've improved the spawn system and they fixed the bugs. I love that.
Sorry, sirens on my end. Sorry, I just saw Steve Mears.
Wes and Virtual Strangers, Grandpa Barbecue, they're part of this community too. Like when I mention our community, that includes 100%. Virtual Strangers and Miles and Jammy and my channel.
Yeah, like, you guys are part of the Extended Without Parole family, which, you know what? No one fucking asked to be part of the Extended Without Parole family, so it feels a little presumptuous maybe on my end to be saying that. But like these are all people that I respect. These are all people that I love. I consider all of them my friends, and if they don't want to be part of the Without Parole community, that's fine. However, I consider you guys part of the Without Parole community, so you just let me know if you don't want to be included in that next time we bring it up. Listen,
are you talking about me?
No, just no. I just assume, like, I've never said, "Hey, Jamie, do you feel like you're part of the Extended Without Parole?" No, I've never said that, right?
I mean, he's a little newer, he's a little newer, but listen, I was a game cat. I am a game cat.
Listen. Wes is a very unique individual. He could be like, he could be like, oh, I love hanging out on Wednesdays, but don't fucking call me part of Without Parole. Don't associate me with that nonsense. Who knows, man? Who knows?
I'm pretty sure Wes is cool with that.
We're all unique little snowflakes. All of us. Some of you more than others, but all of us.
How dare you?
Oh my God! Hey, listen,
I'm so offended that you would call me a snowflake.
I don't want to take this down too much because I know we're having fun, but holy shit, dude! Haseeb Mears just pointed this out in the chat, and I wanted to bring this up. Toast Interactive just posted on Twitter an important message from Toast Interactive to everyone in the VR community. We are closing the Toast Interactive offices. It's a heartbreaking decision that we never wanted to make. The majority of our talented staff has suffered redundancies, and we will assist where we can with your next journey. We're incredibly grateful and proud of everything the team has accomplished. So much talent and passion went into the creation of Max Mustard, and every single accolade speaks volumes. We will continue to improve Richie's playing experience and Max Mustard with a leaner approach. We want to thank and acknowledge everyone who's been part of our journey at Toast. Bro.
That sucks balls.
This is insane that like this news comes like seconds after we were just like praising Toast for Max Mustard and saying they delivered something that the VR community definitely, especially the PSVR2.
I mean, it doesn't.
What's up? It doesn't.
I don't want to sound insensitive, but this is why I get really pissed off this is why I got really pissed off about, the game and the way it looks and the name of it, because like it's such a good game to play, but it's the most unmarketable game ever there. Like it really pisses me off. It feels like a waste of effort, like a waste of a really great effort. But yeah, I'm not even gonna say anything else because that just makes me sound like a dick, and I don't want to sound like that. My heart goes out to them. I love that studio and really awesome people, and that really sucks.
Yeah, I listen. I don't want to pretend like I don't understand where you're coming from, right? Because I do. Like, you know, if they had made this like a cute animal mascot or something like that, right? Like if Ven was a much more marketable mascot than Max Mustard ever would be, right? But where this game succeeds is where it counts. The gameplay was amazing. Right. The PSVR2 features were incredible, right? And it's just like, it's too bad that I think too many people couldn't see past the stuff that bothered you, right? And actually tried it and played it for themselves. Because if they had and played it for themselves and just said, God, this is a fun fucking game, this is what we need on PSVR2, they would have loved it. They absolutely would have loved it.
Marketing is a big part of this, though. This is why I get so kind of angry about it, because it's, to me, it's like I could have told, like, from the, like, it's a game that I wanted, and yeah, like, you know, it's just how marketing works, man. It's not like, you know, my decision. I don't come up with the way the world works. Like, that's just the way the world works. And you need, if you're running a business, you have to, yes, like, there's a lot of people in the VR space that are doing this out of passion or whatever, but if you're operating a business and your livelihood and other people's livelihoods are on the line, then you have to consider these types of decisions. These are really, really important. And I promise you, if it had something that was like a little bit, you know, more marketable, like, it would have sold a lot more. But the fact that nobody really bought it, and it being a really good game, I hate to see that. That's why this stuff really makes me angry when stuff like this pops up.
Yeah.
Because I care. I want them to be successful.
Yeah. Yeah. I listen, again, I agree with you. I do. I really do. I agree with you. But like, also, the things that I've liked over the years, and the things that I've loved that have spoken to me personally and been like, this is like perfect, and then no one bought it anyway. Right? Yeah. The things that, you know, like Separation on PSVR1. Yeah, Song in the Smoke. These are games that were just fucking incredible. The design choices were great. Although Song in the Smoke, terrible name. Terrible name. We've said it over and over. Survive VR would have sold 1,000,000 times better than Song in the Smoke. 1,000,000 times, right?
So, but I don't know. It's that art. It seemed like the art style, which has actually surprised me, because I actually really like the art style in Song in the Smoke. Yeah. That one was actually pretty surprising. I would have thought that would have done a lot better than it actually did, but I was wrong.
Yeah. Listen, I don't know. Listen, I love Max Mustard. I did. And I wish that more people bought it. And you know, they're closing their offices. They're not saying they're shutting down completely, because they are continuing work on Richie and Max Mustard. So that's good to hear that, like, they're not gone completely, that there's still a skeleton crew that's, you know, hopefully with any luck, going to make these games a success over time. Maybe build the you know, office back up. But we're also in a very tough time for VR, and this is why when people are making games that you like, you have to support them, and you have to spread the word about the games that you like, because they don't really have the advertising budget. They don't have the marketing budget to be able to do, you know, the job that these games need in order to be successful. But they gave it their all, for sure. This is good stuff.
Somebody asked me what made it unmarkable. It's called Max Mustard. Jesus Christ, it's not that difficult.
But again, though, I feel like it's so easy to talk about this stuff in retrospect. It's like Crash Bandicoot wasn't the greatest name, right?
But it was okay, and that's the other thing. It was there was two big complaints I had about Max Mustard:
the character design, and the name.
Generic ass character, no personality, no character at all. Unappealing design, and then the name Max Mustard. I think if you change those two things, you're in a much different position.
Flippy Nugget says Survive VR is a good name if you want to market to simpletons. Yeah, welcome to the VR community. Have you looked around, Flippy? Like, literally, listen, I know that a lot of us appreciate high art. No, I'm kidding. It's you've got to make your game as marketable to as many people as possible,
especially
right?
in VR.
And so sometimes
Especially
marketing
in the VR
to,
space.
as Flippy calls them, simpletons, right? Song and Smoke is a much better name. I agree with you, but it makes it sound like an artsy fartsy craft project, right? It doesn't survive VR, right? And you just like make everything look like it's been
Well,
torn.
again, with Song in the Smoke, it wasn't just the name, it was the look of it. People didn't like that art style, which again, that was a big surprise to me. Big surprise, because I thought the art style was fantastic, but I don't
know. Princess Summerscale says Song and Smoke is one of my favorite game titles. It's up there for me too, man. It's up there for me too. Again, but from a marketing perspective, it's not great. It was the same reason that Rogue Incursion was a terrible name for Alien when it's not a roguelike game. And I understand that there's a lot of meanings for rogue and that it's never always meant roguelite. We all know that, right? We're not fucking stupid. But what we are is entrenched in the gaming space where there has been an influx of roguelites over the last couple of years. And so you don't, at least right now, name your game Rogue anything if it's not a roguelite. Right? It's a Rogue Legacy. Nope, that's a roguelite, right? It's just, you're trying to tell people as much as you possibly can about your game from the title as you possibly can, right? Because so yes, I'm 100% with all of you guys in the comments being like, this is a great name. That's a great name. But like you gotta sometimes you gotta just simplify things for people.
Yeah. I mean, not only that, but just like have something that is appealing. Whether it's simple or not, you just need to have something that's marketable.
Although I guess I should add Alien was going to sell well no matter what they called it. As long as Alien was in the title, it was like, okay, this is going to sell, period.
Yeah. And the other thing too is like just all around, like the games industry is just in a really rough place right now. It's not, and so like everything that happens is magnified times 10 for the VR market, the VR studios, VR developers, because even like the long reigning successful market is struggling really, really bad. So yeah, if you're not having wild amount of success, you're closing doors or just barely skimming by right now. It's a tough time for the games industry. And I blame all of the media and monopolies and companies making bad decisions, and it's all the things have brought us here. But hopefully it gets back on track at some point. Otherwise, the games industry is cooked.
Yeah, it might be cooked anyway.
It might be cooked. I think it's borderline. It's on the verge right now of. Yeah. Of being cooked. It was everything was going great last generation, and it just all shit the bed.
Yeah. AJ, that brings us to December. We got to rate this. We got to rate December. I don't know if we did already, but Demeo Battles, Alien, Rogue Incursion, Subside, Behemoth. What are we giving this?
4 out of 5.
Dude, I'm gonna go 4 out of 5 too. And I got to say that Subside was infinitely more fun than I thought it was gonna be. I loved being in there, and easy to call it a tech demo. Wes just did it to piss me off. But it was unlike Kayak VR. It was a place I wanted to stay and explore and find every single hidden thing that I could possibly find and unlock everything I could unlock. Ended up being, I think, my favorite game of this month. The highest rated game from me for this month, at least. So good stuff. Good stuff. And then January, AJ. Arcanage. Done. Arcanage. That's it. Unless I missed something.
Just Arcanage?
That's all I got.
3 out of 5. Arcanage is, fantastic in itself. I mean, it didn't really need anything else other than Arcanage. I could easily go 4 out of 5 here.
It's the only reason I'm not going higher than 3 out of 5 is because it's just one game. It's very, very hard to, no matter what the game is, go higher than 3 out of 5. If there's only one game that came out that month that's worth talking about.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's weird. This rating is going to come out. I'm very curious to see what our ratings come out to, because it's kind of all over the place what we're judging it by. And, you know, I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
We did our best to put this together, but yeah, it's definitely like
this was a ridiculous
it doesn't really
way to
tell
do it.
it doesn't tell the whole picture, I think, of
It doesn't, dude. We would need a 7-hour show where we went through and rated each of these games separately. You know, give it out of
talked about
10.
all the updates, talked about all the news announcements and the sales and the hype and yeah.
Yep. Okay, so now it's time to total these up, man. It's time to total these up, and so I'm bringing up my calculator. Okay,
I'm gonna pick my 20 questions again. 4-minute challenge game.
Okay, fine. All right, so let's see. We're gonna go all the way back to the launch, and we're gonna say 9 plus. Oh, this is gonna take a second. 6 plus 7 plus 4 plus 10. Oh no, no, no. Plus 11.
Somehow I feel like PSVR 1 is going to end up on top here.
I mean, year one?
From the numbers rating, but we're going to have to quickly debate that if that's the case.
All right, we get a grand total of 65 for year one.
Okay.
65.
1965, yeah. Wow.
That was White Zombie, right? That wasn't Rob Zombie. All right. Okay, so we're starting over. We're going 8 plus 8 plus 10 plus 14 plus 14 equals. Whoa. All right, AJ. You ready for this?
What is it?
Year one, grand total 65. Year two, grand total
69.
54. 65 to 54. Womp, womp. Jen Eric says, "Are we guessing numbers again?" No, we're not. No, don't start that again. No, This makes
sense.
It makes perfect sense to me when I started making this list and when I started going through and looking. I was like, holy shit, dude! Year one was insanely good, right? I mean, just great fucking games, and as far as quantity goes, pretty good when it comes to quantity too, right? Year two,
if you're looking at the games alone,
yeah,
it's actually pretty easy to understand. Just the games alone. It's kind of some of the other things that happened in 2024 that I think was actually better for PSVR2 overall. It was just a better year overall for PSVR2, without a doubt. But if you're judging by just the games alone, it's not that hard to see why 2023 wins.
Yeah, I think so too. And there were a lot of different ways that we could have judged these years. There's a lot of different ways we could have done this. And I was trying to come up with the best way to do this for like an hour before the show. I asked everybody, and this was like legit. This is the only thing that wasn't going to take 4 hours. So I'm glad we did it this way. But and yeah, basing it just on games, I do think that was a better year. But I think from a PR standpoint, this past year has been much better for PSVR2. It's gotten a lot of the credit it deserves. People are finally using it on PC, and they're and they're figuring out ways to make adaptive triggers work on PC and all that. It's good. People are figuring out that this is a quality headset, and they're able to pick it up at a reasonable price a couple of times this past year, and that was a major turning point. Plus, all the press it's gotten, that we talked about earlier, where developers are saying our games are selling better on PSVR2 than they are anywhere else. This is all really good for us, and so it's kind of made PSVR2 more of a legitimate headset in the eyes of people who maybe haven't been following it so closely like we have, and that's good for everybody, I think.
Yeah, still a long way to go. Like a lot of damage was done to it already since launch. And the media has basically given up on it because they say Sony has given up on it. they'll talk about every bad thing, but they won't mention things that actually good that happen, like good games that release, or gets hand tracking or whatever. So it's kind of this one step forward, two steps back deal that we're in, but at least we're moving in the right direction again, at the very least, which is how PSVR1 got started. Like, everybody just shit on it all the time. And then there was a dedicated, amount of people that said, like, look, no, this thing's really cool, and would show you why, and would follow the positive things. And then it kind of snowballed. And the next thing you know, it was like 5 million plus sold. So we're kind of back to that beginning mark again, where just as long as games keep releasing, especially, some of these, this is why I'm such a big supporter of hybrid games, because I think those sell more headsets than anything, like easily. But obviously there's been pushback against that from like VR purists.
Insanity.
And yeah, so it's just a fucking mess, to be honest with you. But I'm just glad we have our headset, we have our community, and we're just, we get to break down everything, analyze all the games that come out, and give one's attention that, otherwise wouldn't get any, that are very deserving of that attention. Yeah, man, this is going to be an interesting year 3.
Yeah, agreed. And actually, I want you thinking about this while I read. Actually, you know what? No, hold on a second. Emily Baxter in the chat, the cartoony witch game kitten, said, "See, Aces would have tipped the scale if it released." Now, this is a very interesting point. Aces of Thunder, huge game for PSVR2. Huge, very, very important.
Yeah,
a lot of people are looking forward to this, dude. Wanderer, the Fragments of Fate. The original Wanderer was one of the best games on PSVR1, one of the best VR games ever made. This and they're improving it to the nth degree. We get possibly the best version of Hitman World of Assassination. 3 AAA games all coming our way with 2-hand support and just all this updated everything. Right? There's a lot of stuff coming, already announced, coming soon for year 3 of PSVR2. Where do you think, based on the limited amount that we know of year 3 right now, where do you think it's going to fall? Do you think it'll surpass year 2? Do you think it'll surpass year 1?
In terms of game releases, it should pass year 2. Because the games that are coming out are higher profile games, are more hype games. Then there's a lot of other stuff that could potentially happen that's pretty good. But yeah, I mean, we didn't get one actual AAA game last year. And this year we already have one that's coming in just in a month from now. A month and a week. We've got Hitman. So I think that alone is going to be a big push. Again, like, not to undermine like how good indie games, new IPs, new innovations, things like that are. They're incredibly important. But when you're just talking about selling and growing VR, like, that's what sells games. That's what sells headset, is stuff like Hitman getting VR support. And yeah, dude, we started with Arcane Age. Yeah, we've got Aces of Thunder, Hitman, some other things. This could definitely easily, I think, could beat 2024 in terms of games. Beating,
I think
launch year, we'll see.
I think, yeah, I mean, unless we get a shitload of hybrids, if Resident Evil 9 comes along, I mean, it's possible, right? And I'm still 99% certain that we're going to get a VR version of Resident Evil 9, although like RE4, not at launch. I think that the deal breaker, or the thing that's going to decide the fate of 2025, is whether things like the highly anticipated games, is Hitman going to deliver? Is it going to be the best version of Hitman yet?
100%.
Is Wanderer going to be like the 10 out of 10 that it should be if they do everything right? Because Behemoth, as good as Behemoth
that's
was,
what crushed the first year of PSVR2 was, like, after launch, it was like disappointing, broken launches. Yeah, and that just yeah, that just created even more damage. But yeah, sorry, go ahead.
No, I'm just saying that like as good as Alien was, as good as Behemoth was, as good as Metro was, all of those came with a but, right? It's like, oh, this is good, but and there's always something that drags it down. And so if all these games that we're excited for over the next few months can come out and there's no but, we just go, oh, it's good, period. Right? We don't have to say, oh, but there's these big periods where it just doesn't blah blah blah, whatever, or the combat is, whatever. These games are taking their time getting here, and I'm just really hopeful that it's going to be worth all that extra time, and that they come out and they just blow everyone away. That's what will push 2025 over 2024. Maybe not even big new announcements. Just the fact that the ones that we know about already turn out to be as good as we want them to be.
Yeah, they're gonna have to come out in good condition to keep things going. Yeah. Otherwise, broken launches, disappointing games, it's just gonna cause more damage.
It looks like the poll said that year 2 was the better year. 62% of you, almost 2/3 of you said that year 2 was the better year. 37% said year 1.
Yeah, again, it depends on what you're talking about. If you're talking about just the games themselves, year 1. But if you're talking about just overall for PSVR2, what year was better for it? Definitely 2024, easily.
All right, let's tackle a couple of tips. We'll do the 4-minute challenge. We'll call it a day, AJ. This has been a long stream. Alejandro D, 2-year Underground Stranger with the $5 tip says, do you think that you guys could ever make a top 100 in no specific order? Just the best 100 games or must play? And as always, thanks, guys. Listen,
no.
the editing editing a top 50 video not only like breaks my brain, but like, I'm writing descriptions for all those games. I'm like, and editing all that in together. My computer is already struggling with the top 50 list, having all this footage from all these different games and everything. I could probably do a top 100 if there was no voiceovers, right? If I'm just like being like, oh, this game and then that game and then this game and not explaining why, right? And I know my computer would still struggle getting 100 different games in there, but I could try. I'm always interested in trying something we haven't done before. Also, I think it would kill it as far as views are concerned.
I don't know. Yeah, maybe by the end of the PSVR2 life cycle, but I think it's too early for a 100. Plus, I like kind of keeping it down a little bit, and like, it really sucks to leave some games off the list, but I think a tighter, more curated list is better.
Yeah.
Because otherwise people are just like, oh, that's every PSVR2 game.
Yeah, right. I didn't even know PSVR2 had 50 games. Yeah. We just literally talked about 300 of them. We didn't literally talk about because we left off some of the lesser ones. Yeah. Red Rover, the effing Game Cat. What's up, Sir Grover? With the $5 tip says, Brian, give yourself more credit. You're more sophisticated than you smell. Hold on. I better be. Whoa. AJ, Dargans, smarmy comment for the tip. Boom. Thank you so much.
Dargans. What up, Red Rover?
Dargans. Mark, Pop it, Pringles Sleep with the $2 says, we must be due for an Aces of Thunder new trailer soon. I keep saying it, man. I keep saying it. And I know that like I've got no leg to stand on here. No leg to stand on. I just don't. The only reason that Sony hasn't given us updates on Aces of Thunder and that all of the updates for Aces of Thunder have been on Gaijin's own Facebook page or Instagram pages, because I think Sony wants to announce the release date, or they're doing a stealth drop for the 2-year anniversary. One or the other. But I feel like that's happening this week. One or the other is happening this week. We're going to get an update on Aces of Thunder for the 2-year anniversary. Grandpa's Barbecue or Game Cat with the Australian $5 tip says, great episode, Brian and AJ.
Thank you.
I put the extended pause in. He didn't. Mad Vegan with the $2 tip says, year 2 felt better as I was able to play my backlog.
Dude,
good stuff.
Real. This was I had played through every PSVR 1 game, and then from launch, it was like, oh my God, the backpedaling was for real. Like, it was so hard to get caught up because it's hard to review like 1 or 2 games at a time. 40.
Yeah.
Like, again, what we do, Brian, is not what a normal human being does. And I've realized this lately. I'm like, no wonder I get burnt out or pissed off sometimes, or, whatever, because the average consumer or gamer does not play 40 fucking games at a time.
Yep.
And try to get through them. Those people
average,
play one game and they play it for like 30 hours or whatever until they've exhausted it. And then 3 months later, they buy their next game.
The average gamer is probably still playing Metro VR, right? It's like,
I wanted to play Demeo Battles. I had no time for anything else other than just to play Demeo Battles. This yesterday is it. And I was like, I want to play more Ghost Signal. I want to play more this, more that. And I'm just like, I only have time to do is play Demeo Battles. That's it.
Yeah.
Couldn't if I wanted to.
William Saloka in the chat says, I'm 64 now. VR was always part of my retirement plan. Dude, nice. when I was collecting games before I got rid of my collection, that was always my mentality. I was like, oh man, like when I retire, I looked forward to this mythical time when I would just suddenly have time to play every game, right? And I'd be like, yeah, I can't wait to play this game. I can't wait to play this game. I can't wait to play this game. And then the next thing I knew, there was like 500 games that like I hadn't played. Like in the future, I'll have more time to play. Dude, I'm never going to be able to retire. The future has no extra time for me. Like if I'm not playing a game right now, then it's like, sorry, it's probably time to move on, right? My backlog is non-existent. It's like I'm just going to always look forward, always look to the future. And I'm glad
it's kind of why I brought Saturday Night Live streams back, because because I play 8 games in one night, so it's a really good way to kind of stay current.
All right. Well, then that's perfect. That means on Sunday morning you can write 8 Brian bites and send them my way.
Oh no, I am recovering that day, sir.
Yeah, I bet you are. That's exhausting.
Yeah.
All right, dude. Let's do a 4-minute challenge. All right, guys. Everybody in the chat, you need to help me out because I suck at this so bad. I've played all these games. I don't remember any of them. We got 4 minutes and an infinite number of yes or no questions to figure out what PSVR1 or PSVR2 game AJ is thinking of. Ask me good questions in the chat.
This one, I'm going to want to give so many hints, but I'm not going to because give it away too easy.
Give it away. Anymark, get this. Go. Did we mention it on today's show?
No.
Oh, that eliminates a lot. Is it on PSVR1?
Yes.
That explains that. It's not on PSVR2?
No.
Wait, no, it's not on PSVR2. Got it. Okay, sorry, I said that weird. PSVR1, is it on? Is it also on Quest and Steam? Quest or Steam, either one.
Ooh. Ask another question.
Okay, does it have full locomotion?
No. It's on. Yes, it is on either Quest or Steam.
Okay. Did you say no for full locomotion?
Correct.
No, is it a wave shooter? Wave shooter?
No.
Is it a puzzle game? It's super hot, guys. It's super hot.
It's not really classified as a puzzle game, no.
Okay, does time only move when you move?
No.
Okay, good. Let's see. It's not classified as a puzzle game, but probably puzzles in it, or some kind of puzzle. There's no full locomotion. Is it node-to-node teleportation?
I don't think so.
Okay, well, there goes the room. Oh, that room's on PSVR2 anyway.
It might be node. It might be node, but I don't think so.
Okay, is it first person? All first person?
I mean, not really. No. I mean, you're playing from first person, but yeah, not really. This is a tough one.
Oh my god! Is it? Hold on a second. Is it a platformer?
No.
You're playing from first person, but
like you're playing the game from your first person perspective, but
every third person platformer is every third person
I'd
game.
Say I'd actually call it a third person game.
I want to reach through the screen and strangle you right now.
This is VR, man.
It's not okay? It's not Trevor. It's not Trevor. Is it made? Just let's get rid of it. Is it made by Squanch?
No.
Okay. Think about third person games then. Third person games. That's on PSVR1 and not on PSVR2. This is about as far as we've gotten, and we only have a minute and a half left.
Oh God.
Alejandro D says, "Is it horror?"
No.
Okay. Is it emotional?
Not really.
Okay, it's not Ghost Giant.
Yeah, it's not like that. No.
Okay. Was it a launch title for PSVR 1?
Sorry. Going quick. No.
Okay, so it's not Wayward Sky. Looper, good guess though. Do you play this game from the perspective of someone sitting in an auditorium, is it set on the game set on a stage production?
No.
Okay, not
but close.
More sirens on my end.
I mean, technically, I think so. Kind of. Maybe it's not the Lost Bear, but kind of.
I am going to edit all of this together, and just to show you your response after your response, just to show people how this game is played.
I mean, it's technically what you said.
Okay.
It technically is, but maybe you wouldn't notice that.
Can you also play this on the flat screen?
I don't think so. No.
Okay. Is there shooting? Like, are you shooting? Okay. Is it stealth? Is it a stealth game?
No.
There goes Republic, you guys. Okay. God. Is it narrative driven?
Yes.
Do you manipulate time?
Yes.
Is it a Tequila Works game?
Yes.
Is it The Invisible Hours?
It is, in fact, released October 9th, 2017. The genre says adventure. Published by Game Trust Games, developed, I think, by Tequila Game Works, even though it doesn't say that anywhere here. It is, in fact, the Rob Yescombe written story, interactive movie, I would call it, which in the beginning of the game, if you remember, you do start out in a theater, and then you kind of like enter it from there. It is Les Invisible Hours.
You know, as much as I hate to give you credit for your answers, they all kind of make sense now.
I told you. Great guess. Great job. As soon as you got on the right track, you were just like boom, boom, boom. Wow. Freaking love Invisible Hours, man.
Yeah.
I don't like the story as much as Farpoint, but like the story it's like you're not like super invested, but it's just so well done that it's entertaining.
Yeah, this game needs to be re-released along with all the other games that we always bring up. But this one never gets included in those conversations because I don't know, it just kind of gets easy to push it to the side and forget about it. But yeah, this is one that needs to be re-released. I think more if people haven't experienced the story, and this is incredible. The way you experience it and manipulate time in it is incredible. This is fantastic. This is what made us fall in love with Rob Yescombe. This and Farpoint.
I mean, Farpoint did, but yeah, this was like also. I was like, damn, this is also really good.
Yeah, it was Arizona Sunshine 2 made me fall out of love with Rob Yescombe, but besides that's a completely different story. I was like, guys, we already played this when it was called The Last of Us. But yeah, that's not the point. All right, you guys, it has been a long show. Thank you so much for sticking with us. Thank you, everybody who supports the channel. You guys are amazing, including Grandpa's Barbecue Game Cat with the level 1 membership says, you'd be surprised how busy you get in retirement. Dude, if I ever retire, I'm just going to stay in bed the whole time, right? Just like catch up on everything that I haven't played. Video games, YouTube videos, movies, TV shows.
You'll start doing all those things that you never wanted to do before.
Like sky jump? Did I say sky jump?
I was going to say
skydive.
I was going to say just go outside, but
bro, when I start calling
if you want to go sky jumping, sure.
I think that's just called jumping. Like I think
sky jumping.
Yay.
Oh
Yay.
my goodness.
I'm touching the sky, AJ. I'm touching the sky. It's sky jumping. Yeah, skydiving is much different, and I'm terrified of that.
Next time I come up there, I'm gonna go take you to the park. We're going for a jog.
Bro, I run 5K every day. What are you talking about?
On a treadmill.
Yeah, dude, it's fucking.
I'm gonna take you outside.
It's
to do it.
2 degrees outside. Where do you think I'm gonna run?
It'll be warmer by then.
It will be warmer by then, and by then, hopefully, I'll be running outside because I always prefer to run outside.
Been
guys, thanks
a lot lately. It's been great.
Oh, do tell.
Last 2 weeks. I don't think the last 2 weekends in a row, I went hiking.
Yeah,
because it's my favorite form of exercise, and you get some nice nature. Oh my God, look at that! That is mad free OnlyFans content for you guys.
Remember, guys, patreon.com/withoutparole games. You can get much more foot content over that. No, you can't. That's not a thing. Thank you, everybody, who supports me over there, though, and everybody who is a member over here. You guys are paying the bills, and I appreciate you so very much. Also, everyone who tips during the show, you're amazing. Thanks to everybody who hangs out during the show, though, because we just are so happy that you're here. We're happy you're part of the community. If you want to be part of the community even more, you can come join our Discord. Click the link in the description below. Finally, figured out how to update my YouTube stuff, dude. So like the link should be actually accurate on the page and the channel and everything like that. So good stuff. Is it nighttime? It's nighttime.
Everyone's been making fun of how pale I look all stream, and I was gonna turn off the light and be like, "Ha! Look, it's just the lighting." But I still look really pale. I don't look this pale in person, so I don't know what's going on here.
This is how pale I look in person. The warm light makes me look like tanned and like, normal. This makes me look dead, which I'm totally fine with. But we're getting all romantic up in here, so it's good. And guys, thank you. Seriously though, come join our Discord. Come hang out. We're just happy that you're here. Money's always secondary. And that's it. Let's get out of here, dude. Let's thank you, everyone, and all you people who sit back, watch it, don't say a goddamn word. I didn't forget about you, and we love you just as much.
Kill the motherfucking cat, Brian, because I want to say to you guys on Wednesday to the Feder PSVR. Thank you so much. I saw a bunion.
Oh, probably multiple.
Shades of gray matter. He said, just kidding.
I put up my left foot, not my right foot, for a reason.
Necrophaniac says nothing wrong with the graveyard fan. Zach Lightning says about to get the title and rise to glory. Just routine now. Mark, Poppin, Pringles, Leaf, another great stream. Brian and AJ, thank you so much, man. Another great commentary by the chat. Awesome Tatum says bloody zombies. Ooh, that's a good one. Flame Hat, the Game Cat, fire. Guys on fist bump to you. Matt_vegan says thanks for the great content. Thank you for being great in the chat.
Friend,
as always.
Traveling down the road
best
and back
community
again.
Ever. Steve_IRE says that's called an Irish suntan, Brian. Mischievous Marco, the Underground Game Cat, Elite Name Squad in the house. Later, homie. Ian Marsh, the Darsh, says thank you, chaps. Thank you. Alessandro Barata, thank you. Ciao. Mwah, mwah. TGK 2.
That's some OnlyFans content.
That's
too.
what they do, right? You gotta give it the kissy on the facey.
No, I'll give you a punchy in the facey.
Well deserved. TGK2, thank you. Says take care, be safe, all have a great week. You as well. Dr. Game Love, hello. Who's it gonna call Dr. Game Love? Who's gonna make it feel all right? Gecko Man 11, the Game Cat, thank you so much. I'm getting tired. Tom. I always want to hit Tom.
You want to hit him?
Yeah, because he's a Tom.
Oh, right, absolutely.
The drum. Scott, the PSVR Game Cat for life. Good night. Mm-hmm. Don't worry. I owe you a VR Skater stream at some point. Bonus round, maybe next viewer's choice. Magic the Game Cat, thank you so much. Silver Nexus, take care, be merry, and game on. Game Cats. Mokai the Soul Review Game Cat, William Staloka, Mark Smith, Dino the Middle-Aged Mutant Ninja Game Cat, Game Cat Photo Nutter, Indie Soul, Techno Glitch, Shades of Grey Matter, all of his Shallon Punk. Let's go.
Good night, everybody. We love you so much.